Hello all, this is a new video from Tot. And I alluded to it in a previous video of something that kind of shook me that was AI made. Now, I'm going to give two examples. One about a show I've grown up watching and loving and how it's changed, how it's forming its own argument or narrative of the quote-unquote AI art. And then a really precious IP, a very nostalgic thing to my heart, which has its flaws. It's not perfect. Nothing is. You can definitely say in the comment if you don't like it or not. That's fine. But in this video, it's my perspective. I really love it. I go back to it often. It's in my top 5 or so favorite games of all time. Maybe top 3. Okay, a little background. You see, they came out with this thing called Sora 2. Or Sora, Video Generation. And I've been watching some videos on there. Okay? It's very fascinating. You give it a prompt. It says if it can do it or not. It has some guidelines you have to follow, which is fair. I can respect that. Okay, do anything lewd or too crazy. That's fair. Putting somebody's face in there. I don't know how deepfake's going to work on the Sora 2. But, I don't know. Would people want to watch that? Like just a video where it's just all AI? I don't think so, because when I make these videos, I keep stuff in there, keep some, mistakes, unless they're really egregious, like something unprofessional, let's put it that way, is in here. I try to take it out. But I saw as a defense to AI, ChatGPT written books or AI books, people were deliberately leaving errors in their work, which I was mortified how many times my book, the one I wrote, had errors in it. I'm trying to rewrite it with less, a little deeper, adding author's notes, other things like that. I've made several posts on that. And yeah, I don't know. And I personally have been using a website called story.com where you get a few free prompts put into it, and then you get a script, and then you can actually have it animated. Now, I've had about 2 things animated, and I'm not going to get a review until I get a couple more. And again, I don't put them in any books or poems or anything. I just use it as I'm just curious, okay? I think it'd be immoral and unethical to make money from that. I mean, it says there's over 1 million creators, which is fine. Teach their own. But, again, I don't think a machine can be a muse. It can't think, it can't feel. We're the only ones that can do that. And, again, we're getting to the point where we're reading AI or seeing AI and we don't like it. You know what I mean? The extra fingers, using the dash a lot, just several things you can pinpoint to saying is AI, which I have a funny little challenge coming up in December about testing my eye against the AI when it comes to poems, at least. It's called Bot or Not, where you see if it's a poem by a person or an AI. And I would like to take my hand at it. I'd like to try it out, give it a few attempts, and write down my results. Be completely honest with it. And see how it goes. I want to know. But anyway, my first example is South Park, where they did an episode all about generative AI using Studio Ghibli and other cartoons or other things doing some inappropriate things. Let's put it that way. It's South Park. If you know, you know. And I think it was a really good episode because I really love Studio Ghibli. And I think they're taking them to court. Ghibli taking on all this because it's a massive breach in copyright law, which is quite the ordeal in any country. And just, yeah, it's not good. It's all things which I think have real world ramifications, the consequences of putting them on the show. And again, copyright law, using likenesses, portrayals. I remember Hollywood had a thing where they're going to pay extras a one-time payment so they can use their likeness as extras in movies forever, which again, I don't think is very good. I don't approve of it. I don't like it. That's my personal opinion. If you make art, you should be compensated. If it's good enough to be compensated, I don't think you should just be given everything for being a quote-unquote artist. I mean, it's the artist is made to make people think, to challenge norms, and express themselves through their art, which I try to do every time I make a video, a poem, a story. Again, using story.com. Personally, I like that one. Very fascinating. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel if something took my book or took my ideas. It doesn't feel fun, okay? Plagiarism's a very bad thing, if college taught me anything. And I'd rather my ideas float or sink depending on how good or bad they are. I just want to know. You can't really clamor for, I guess, consensus on art. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like something. And sometimes they have a lot of pull, sometimes this, that. Just thousands of things can go wrong. Something good could be buried under a lot of negativity. It's just a sad truth. And something bad could be put into the stratosphere because it's popular, which I've never really used as a metric for a lot of things. It's another video for another day. And I think South Park tackled a lot of deeper meanings and satire, which comedy, horror, anything is supposed to put a spotlight on more human topics using humor as like maybe a salve or a shield or a screen, and how true it is. And I'm a big fan of South Park. I'm getting kind of annoyed by it these days for a number of reasons, but that's between me and the show. Anyway, the second part is I saw a video that was AI generated. I think it was Sora 2 generated, where I don't know if any of you've heard of Bioshock. It's one of my favorite game series. The first two. Infinite's good too, but I'm not as in love with that. I love Troy Baker and the woman who played Elizabeth. They're great actors. So Ken Levine's good. He's all right. And I heard recently they're going to try and make a Bioshock 4, which I don't know if I'm going to play it or not. If you had told me that like 10 years ago, I'd been on it like doggone it. But no, it's just, I don't know. I think that part of me is gone. I kind of focus my hobbies on BJJ, working out, making videos. I don't know if I play video games. Then again, I say that I'll play a Doom game, a Ratchet and Clank game, a good platformer any day of the week, to be 100% fair. You're going to get me with those. They keep making them, I'm going to keep buying them. I'll tell you that right now. But it showed Bioshock as like a 1980s horror suspense movie, a trailer at least, and it was really good. Like, I'm not even going to say it isn't good. Okay, I actually felt something watching that trailer. And I'm like, wow, they got me. It's insidious. Again, just like Bioshock, the idea of man, augmentation, lines of morality, ethics, everything getting blurred for capitalism or a quick buck, and just really going to the extremes is only an interactive medium can, because you have to be interacting with it. And watching that trailer, man, I've also heard about a Bioshock movie in the works for years, but I don't know. Again, I'd like people to get compensated and stuff, but just it was so good. And it kind of threw a wrench into my whole philosophy on AI, and that's why I'm making this video, because it just kind of changed my mind for better, or some people's arguably worse, you know. And I'd like your thoughts on it. What happens if you saw something you really loved, something, an art, a precious piece of your nostalgia, because I played it when I was young, much too young to legally play it, but it was still a good game. And it taught me a lot of stuff about morality, ethics, and the drive for power. Also, spoiler alert, I always say the little sisters. I don't ever harvest them, and to be fair, the game does incentivize you heavily to save them. Again, that's another video if you want to hear about my idea on that, because I know. I know that I did that, and I don't want to do that. So I try to play lawful good or lawful neutral in most cases when playing a Fallout game, to be fair. And I guess just kind of portray the hero that those kids needed, the little sisters, and show a dying world have some last spark. And this isn't a summary of the game by any means, it's just my thoughts on it. So, yeah. Thank you. Good night. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a nice day.